speed with latest happenings, insights of the week's interesting stories, bringing you up to speed with latest happenings, insights of the week's interesting stories, bringing you up to speed with latest happenings, insights of the week's interesting stories, bringing you up to speed.
It's a wonderful Saturday. And of course, welcome to This Week in Focus, where we do get looking at some of the stories that have made it this week. And of course, we will be taking you on as we do get looking at some of the details of those particular stories. Let's start with the quote for this particular day. Successful people are not gifted. They work hard, then succeed on purpose. It's a quote coming all the way from G.K. Nelson. So go out there and make things happen. Let's look at some of the stories that have made it this particular week. Zambia commissions Africa's first tunnel boring machine. Government places private sector at center of economic growth. Patrick Chinyemba ranked world's top amateur boxer. And former Botswana President Festus Mogae dies at 89. On the other side, we do get looking at some of the details of the stories that have made it this week on This Week in Focus.
With latest happenings, insights of the week's interesting stories, bringing you up to speed.
It's always a pleasure to share the table right here, the news desk, as we do get looking at some of the stories that have made it this particular week. To present this week's edition, my names are Yesani Jose. Some of the highlights that have made it this particular week are of the World Press Freedom Day. And of course, the World Press Freedom Day celebration that was held at the Mulungushi, where staffers from Light TV, together with staffers from all around the world, Africa and Zambia, met together at the Mulungushi to discuss and table some of the most important topics and issues affecting the media. Some of the issues that are relevant, especially during this time as we do go into the election period, and not forgetting freedom of the press, and not also forgetting that there's so many people that are utilizing digital media and AI to enforce and disseminate information, and thus there is need for us to work in unity and see through that certain individuals that are not trained can also have a balance in the way of shaping information that does reach the next person on the other end. And so it was established that not only trained people are regarded as people that can disseminate information, also content creators, influencers are also a big part of the media industry. And we did have a colleague all the way from South Africa that talked about her experiences of using social media, gaining the numbers, and exploring the possibility of sharing facts to the world. Also, another journalist all the way from South Sudan shared a historic moment about how he turned into a photojournalist just by capturing a photo of some of his members that had perished due to an attack during that period via the war. And of course, that particular story spiked him together with people around him. And from now, he is a journalist that is embarking on telling stories and remaining behind to ensure that stories meaningful and relevant do get to us. And so those are some of the highlights that have made it this particular week. Musokotwane calls for economic reforms is our first story. Minister of Finance and National Planning, Mustumbeko Musokotwane, says Zambia must embrace reforms and focus on enterprise if the country is to achieve meaningful development. Speaking during the Quarter 1 National Development Coordinating Committee meeting, Dr. Musokotwane said countries admired for their progress, succeeded through difficult but necessary reforms. Dr. Musoko Twane also urged civil servants to focus more on creating businesses, industries, and jobs instead of creating heavily on paperwork and speeches. Simon Mwewa Lane Market remains. This is a story that has made headlines as, Simon Mwewa Lane is a very renowned and famous name because of Mr. Simon Mwewa, who has taken up the mantle of ensuring that the Lusaka city is clean. And of course, he's also pursued to become, a public person of mayoral position. And of course, we're going to see how that will pan out as the August period is going to be very exciting for us, because we will be taking, a choice in who will be our leaders. The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, Gift Sauluwalo, has with immediate effect revoked the resolution of the Lusaka City Council's full council meeting to rename Simon Mwewa Lane Market. The Ministry Permanent Secretary Nicholas Piri says all the legal authorities across the country must embrace the culture of consultation when dealing with matters of public interest and historic significance. Government launches PAMO digital platform for SMME financing. Government has launched PAMO, a new digital platform aimed at transforming access to finance for micro, small and medium enterprises. Technology and Science Minister Felix Mutati says the platform is designed to address long-standing challenges facing MSMEs, including limited access to credit and high borrowing costs. He says PAMO is part of Zambia's wider digital transformation agenda and will help modernize the economy. Mr. Mutati has also emphasized the need for expansion of digital infrastructure, especially fiber optic coverage, to ensure the system's success. The platform is expected to improve financial inclusion, strengthen supply chains, and enhance transparency in access of funding for businesses.
Watching the video, it quoted HH saying, economic freedom, liberating the SMEs from the challenges that they face, from big pedestrian in terms of access to finance, to being key players in terms of access to finance. For me, this moment is a liberation. This moment is transforming the Zambian financial ecosystem totally. And for me, Chairman, PS, and other senior people, it's about dealing and addressing our key challenge. And our key challenge is based on 3 pillars, particularly for the SME. It is the pillar of access. It is the pillar of affordability and the pillar of affordability. So the 3 A's is what now, Chairman, you begin to address. How do we address the 3 A's as they relate to the SMEs? And that's why HH instructed the Minister of Technology that you need to move on this digital transformation journey that will address you need to move on this digital transformation journey.
Zambia commissions Africa's first tunnel boring machine. The commissioning of the first ever tunnel boring machine in Africa at NFC, Africa Mining PLC in Kalulushi district, has taken into effect. Copperbelt Province Deputy Permanent Secretary, Mr. Daniel Kamenga, representing Copperbelt's Minister Elisha Matambo, says the investment marks a shift from traditional drill and blast methods to modern technology. The project is expected to boost production to 80,000 tons annually, creating over 6,200 jobs and generate about 578 million United States dollars in tax revenue. The company has also launched an innovation and technology talent incubation program as it moves towards becoming Zambia's first digital mine. Minister AHF launches new HIV service sites in Lusaka. The Minister of Health, in partnership with AIDS Healthcare Foundation, has launched new HIV service sites in Lusaka, including Kalingalinga, Kamwala, George, Matero Main, Chilenje Level 1, Chilenje Kamwala Level 1, and Charleston Zonal Hospital. Permanent Secretary Dr. Kennedy Lishimpi says the initiative strengthens HIV prevention, treatment, and viral suppression towards universal health coverage. Rescue operations underway after miners trapped in Mumbwa mine. Government says rescue operations are ongoing at Matala Gold Mine in Mumbwa district, where 5 miners are trapped underground. Water Development and Sanitation Minister Collins Nzovu says the Ministry of Mines and Ministry Development, the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit and other mining stakeholders are on site conducting coordinated rescue efforts. Mr. Nzovu says the government is closely monitoring the situation and will keep the nation updated on developments as they unfold. He was responding in the National Assembly to an urgent matter of public importance raised by the Kamfinsa Member of Parliament, Christopher Kangombe. A sad story where a football referee has been beaten to death during Chipangali tournament. A football match in Chipangali district has turned deadly after a 55-year-old referee was beaten to death by players and supporters during a local tournament. The incident occurred on Thursday, the 7th of May 2026 at Mchenga Primary School grounds in Chief Mafuta area during a replay of the Andrew Luwasha football tournament. The victim, identified as Mwale Dona Detonga of Madaliso Farm, was officiating when violence erupted following a disputed decision involving Mikango United football team. Eastern Province Police Commanding Officer Robertson Mwemba says the situation escalated after players and fans of Mukango unit disagreed with the referee's call in the first half. The referee reportedly attempted to flee but was caught up and assaulted using fists, kicks, stones, sticks, and a bamboo stick. He was later rushed to Chamasongo Clinic, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Police say the postmortem has been ordered and a manhunt has been launched for suspects linked to the attack. The tragic incident has shocked the local football community, turning a community tournament into a scene of violence and loss. A very sad story where we shouldn't have such. A lot of people are resorting to violence on any dispute. And of course, we are just echoing that peace is what we are built on as a nation. Zambia is a friendly nation. Dialogue, communication, sitting down. Even if we do not agree on certain points, we should not resort to violence. And so such should not be condemned. And the perpetrators of that crime, or these crimes, should be brought to book. And of course, we like to, just remind all the forces that be to ensure that, well, justice must prevail. Government places private sector at center of economy is our next story. Government says it is placing the private sector at the heart of Zambia's economic transformation agenda. Minister of Information and Media and Chief Government Spokesperson, Honorable Cornelius Mwetwa, says sustainable development depends on stronger collaboration between government, the private sector, the media, and citizens. He was speaking at the Public Dialogue Forum Media Engagement ahead of the 2026 Media Private Sector Day. Mr. Mwetwa says that the private sector remains central in driving investment, innovation, industrialization, and job creation. He highlighted reforms in energy, mining, tourism, and investment, licensing aimed at improving business environments. He also urged the media to help citizens understand the benefits of reforms and support national economic growth.
Government remains committed to fostering strong partnerships with the private sector because we recognize that sustainable development can only be achieved through collective efforts. The private sector remains a key player for economic growth, innovation, industrialization, and employment creation in our country. Platforms such as the Media Private Sector Day, therefore, provide an important opportunity for government and the private sector to engage openly on policy priorities, business environment reforms, investment opportunities, and emerging economic challenges. Such engagements are essential in strengthening trust, improving coordination, and accelerating implementation of reforms that support national development, economic growth, jobs, and shared prosperity. This year's theme, driving jobs and shared prosperity, private sector steering development and growth, speaks directly to government's aspirations of building an inclusive and resilient economy that creates opportunities for citizens.
Government launches National Vulnerability Survey for Disaster. The Disaster Risk Management Division, Disaster Risk Management Division has launched the 2026 In-Depth Vulnerability and Needs Assessment Survey aimed at strengthening disaster response across the country. National Coordinator Mr. Norman Chipakupako says the exercise will run from the 11th of May to June the 30th, 2026, covering 93 districts in all the 10 provinces with about 230 trained enumerators deployed nationwide. He says the survey conducted under the National Vulnerability Assessment Committee will collect data from agriculture, food security, health, nutrition, infrastructure, and livelihoods to guide government as partners in planning interventions. Mr. Chipakupaku adds that the exercise is purely technical and humanitarian and urged citizens to cooperate with the enumerators by providing accurate information. And in sport, Chinyemba ranked world's top amateur boxer. A Zambia National Service officer has made history on the World Global Boxing stage after Staff Sergeant Patrick Chinyemba was officially ranked the world's #1 amateur flyweight boxer by the International Boxing Association. Popularly known as Bado, Chinyemba earned the top ranking following his African Championship victory and impressive performance at the World Boxing Championships. The two-time Olympian is currently in Miami, United States, attending a professional boxing training camp as prepared for future international competitions. His rise to #1 is being celebrated as a major achievement for both Zambia and Africa, especially in the division traditionally dominated by boxing giants such as Cuba and Russia. In international news, sad story of the demise of the former Botswana president, Festus Mago, who was aged 89. Former Botswana president has died at the age of 86. Botswana's former head of state has died at the age of 86. President Duma Boko has announced. The former president, who led Botswana from 1998 to 2008, had been ill health for some time. Mogae, the country's third president, is widely credited with strengthening Botswana's economic management and governance systems during the period of rapid growth driven by diamond revenues. That sad story does get ending our package for this particular day right here on what we call This Week in Focus. Remember to always make a date every day on a Saturday, and we will definitely share for you these exciting stories. But before we go, let's have a recap on some of the stories that made it this week. Zambia commissions Africa's first